started on time. So what we'll do is mute out everybody so we get a nice clean copy of this training. It's always beneficial for those of you that can't be here live. We certainly understand that. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Chuck Hansen. I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm here with two founders of the company, Michael Stern and John Krem. John's up in Wisconsin, Michael's out in Arizona. And like every Tuesday, we try to go through some information that is beneficial both to a newcomer and to someone who's been around a little bit and might want to know a little bit more. So we're going to go through some of those things with you. But before we do that, I'm going to show you something that I love, right? I mean, I love it. I let everybody that is thinking about joining iHub Global watch this little presentation. And so I'm going to share it with you guys right now. Just to say,
I'm going to give you a couple just ideas. I stopped in. The guys told me they were doing this event. I stopped in and said, you know what? Let me just come in and congratulate you, number one. Innovation, the world is changing. That we're living in a technological world.
What did I do?
And you guys are involved in technology and on the bleeding edge, I would say, of technology.
It's playing.
Early on.
Oh, it's still on?
It was. But that's okay. Yeah, you can get and start over or take it from where you were. I think it wasn't full screen, but not sure what you did. But we could see and hear Eric.
Yeah. One side of the jungle, and on the other side of the jungle is the prize, and in between is the jungle. And there's snakes, and there's quicksand, and there's animals that will eat you, and there's all kinds of stuff. And the best way to get through that jungle, if the prize is big enough, you get a machete and you start hacking your way through the jungle, maybe go with some friends. And it's not for everybody. The stage that you're in right now is not for everybody. Some people are going to say, well, if I can't get the device, I'm going to wait until I get it. In my opinion, that's a huge mistake. Massive mistake. You got to hack through the jungle, understand quicksand's going to get some, and the mosquitoes are going to get some, and the lions are going to get some, and discouragement's going to get some, and they're going to go back home. But if you pay the price, you can get to the prize, right? So that's phase one, the phase you're in right now. Phase two is what I call a dirt road, a bumpy road. If you've ever lived in the country, when the roads get really bumpy, it's annoying because it's dusty and you can't go as fast as you want to go because you'll knock the fillings out of your teeth if you try and go as fast as you really want to, but it's faster than going through the jungle. You don't lose as many people. And phase three is a superhighway, and it's gorgeous, and there's lights, and there's green grass on the median, and it's amazing. And some people want to wait for the superhighway. I'll just wait till everything's figured out. Just understand this. For every $1 you will earn when you get involved when it's a superhighway, you'll earn $10 when it's a dirt road and it's annoying, and there's challenges. And for every $10 you earn there, you earn $100 if you decide to get involved when it's the jungle, when it's tough, when you don't have the equipment, when you can't keep up with demand, when people are frustrated and everybody is, moaning about the fact that it's not in their country yet, or you don't have all the stuff exactly figured out yet. That's the price you pay. So those of you who are watching online today and those of you who are here in the studio, congratulate yourself for being involved at an early stage and being willing to discipline your disappointment in the journey. Understanding not everybody's going to go, not understanding everybody's not going to be there. If you can get your head around that and manage your expectations properly, there's no limit to how much value you can bring and how much you can create in this season. I promise you, 5 years from today, there are going to be people who would do anything, pay any price to be able to be in this room right now, go back in time, to be watching online today, to go back in time. So I want to congratulate you for your vision, for getting involved early, for being willing to deal with challenges. It's all great. My quick couple thoughts, I'll give you my thoughts about network marketing.
So guys, let me shut that.
Chuck, you there? Huh.
Okay, there we go. Got that shut off. So, guys, I wanted to play that for you because I just think it takes and puts everything into perspective. A lot of people are asking, geez, you guys promised that you're going to have 19,000 hotspots in January, and where are they? Well, stuff happens, right? Stuff happens. I'm going to tell you to tune in to the Thursday night State of the Union affairs with our CFO, our CEO, and get it straight from the horse's mouth as to what's going on. I know our CFO talks with our manufacturing partners all the time. Now, for those of you that have not dealt with Chinese companies before, and unfortunately, or fortunately, or whatever way you want to look at it, 99% of all of the electronics are built in China, right? And so they have something called Chinese New Year. And so Michael and I were both involved with a company for a long period of time that had a Chinese owner. So we're very familiar with more Chinese traditions than you can possibly imagine. And, we've lived with all of those. And unfortunately, one of the things that happened is that during Chinese New Year, which just ended, by the way, yesterday, everybody shuts down. Everybody goes home, especially in the factories. Not so much the retail stores and all of those things. They're open, but factories gone, right? Everybody goes home, and then the last week are big festivities and so on and so forth. So, and then in the midst of all of that, helium. We've got these units about ready to come and get to the airport. Helium says, "Hey, guess what? We've just done a new upgrade and to the operating system. And so all of those units have all got to be plugged back into the internet and they've all got to be updated." Oh, great. Thanks for telling us, right? So now they're all getting plugged back in and all getting updated. And then out of there. But you're going to get all that information on Thursday night. I just wanted to give you a little bit of update because I know it's on everybody's mind. So what we do every Tuesday night, like I said earlier, is we give the new people, if you're brand new, congratulations and welcome. We're going to give you some getting started tips. Our system is very simple and getting easier all the time, because it's systematic, right? If you do A, then you do B, then you do C, then you do D. And, it's pretty simple to go through those processes. And that's what Michael's going to kind of explain to you. And then secondarily, we're going to explain some other things about why some hotspots make more HNT than other hotspots, and why, because of where they're positions, something called their resolution, right? The area that they happen to be in. So, Michael, let's get started. Let's start showing everybody where their referral link is, number one, because I know that everybody's going to want to refer people. And guys, let me tell you, I mean, we talk about it all the time that there's really no need for for people to refer anybody? Yeah, there's not, but there's a, a limited amount of money that you can make compared to doing and building a team of people. So, Michael, why don't you take it away, buddy?
Hey, Chuck, appreciate it. Thank you. And good evening, everybody. And yeah, this is your iHub back office. And how do you get here? You could go to app.ihub.global and it'll take you to the login. That's probably one of the best ways, but you could even go to the website, the ihub.global site, and just click login. I think affiliate login on there, it'll take you to the same place. But before I start getting into that, Chuck, before I forget, I just wanted to show, because somebody asked before you started recording, how you change the language options on the site. And if you just go up here into the upper right where your name is, and you get that drop down menu, you can just click right over here to language and then just change it to whatever language that you want. Not every language is available yet, but quite a few of them are. And if you change it, it changes all the text on the site over to the language. So that's basically where you find that control. And that's a pretty useful tool if you're dealing with people outside of the States. So getting in your back office, you've got a couple of sections on here that are really good. There's a lot going on if you just sort of take a look at it for the first time. But this first section on the far left is your account information, your hotspot deployment status. If you've, in this case, it's saying that I haven't started a deployment on it. This is a test account. And then getting started on getting your unit deployed in the second column to the left. Over here on the far left, there are all the menu items. And there's really a lot of information and a lot of really great options tucked in through all this. But as you were starting to say, Chuck, the most important thing is right here where it says my affiliate link, because you want to go ahead and copy this link, because this is what you give out to other people for them to join you in iHub Global. They go there, it takes them to the registration page, and then they're able to become an iHub affiliate directly connected to you. Now, just one word of advice here, or a word of caution. If you've got somebody visiting you where you are, and you are using your computer and you're already logged into your dashboard like this, and you want to just say, oh, okay, here's my affiliate link, and go ahead and log in with that. Oops, that's not the right one. Let me do this again. Let me grab this. I didn't copy it. But if you go in and were to copy that link and click iHub, join iHub Global, it would take you back into your own account because you're already logged in on this browser. And even though it's a separate tab. So if you do have somebody coming over and you're going to sign them up while you're together, you need to log out first. Okay, where you log out. And if you do that and then go over here to this link and put it in, and then click join iHub so you can fill in their information. Oops, I got to log out here too. I'm sorry. Let's do it one more time. And I may still be doing it. I've got a few other tabs still open, but I think that should do it. Okay, so now it takes us into the registration screen. So if you do that and it takes you into your own screen, it means that you're still logged into the back office somewhere. But now it allows you to do this. And when they go to register, it defaults to them being a host or host affiliate, meaning it's an affiliate that can also host a unit. They put in their basic information. The one field that sometimes create questions is this one that says create a username URL subdomain. And username is really the key. Like in the case of Sam Tester, who I set up that we're using Sam Tester's affiliate registration link, you can see it says Sam Tester. That's his username, or the username I set up for him. And you would do a similar kind of thing. And it's whatever you want it to be, as long as it's available. There can be no spaces in that. And that's a username, and you can change it later on if you want to, as long as it's available, not being used by somebody else. The rest of it is pretty straightforward in doing that. And then when somebody goes ahead and does all this and registers, then it takes them right into their own back office where we were before. So I'm going to just go back here and log back into Sam Testers again. Sorry, I'm going to do it from here. All right. So now we're right back to where I was before. And that's the important thing when it comes to how to get somebody else started. And what happens is when they do that, they're going to get into their own back office. And the best thing that you can do for them is to direct them up here to the support center. And also, for the first time when they do it, there'll be a welcome video that will walk them through kind of a roadmap of what to do and what to do get next. I've already turned that off on this one, but a new person, that would be the first thing that they see, is that welcome video. But there is a wealth of videos back here, training videos that walk people through it. And if you just click training videos, you'll see that they're very well categorized. Getting started with iHub Global, you click on that, and then it'll take you to a group of small 3 to 5 minute videos on different things. So somebody could just take their time and go through one after the other and get to be really quite adept on getting somebody started in iHub. It's really very duplicatable process, as we say, which really makes all the difference in the world. So I think that's just kind of a basic getting started. The other thing is that when you want to be able to get your hotspot, once you're reserved, you could start enrolling people and building a team. But if you're in the United States, then you want to take advantage of getting a hotspot, and you start that process right here by getting my hotspot. And you can click the help training and it'll walk you through all that and show you that whole video process. Now, I had previously reserved a hotspot, but never walked it through the process because this is just a test account. That's why it's saying that my spot is reserved. But there are people in the United States that may have reserved a unit and never went to the next step. And if they see this, they can just go ahead and start this process right from the beginning with that same address that's already there. And as long as it's still an available location, they'll be able to go ahead and to do that. They just go ahead and click order their hotspot, and it takes them in the process where our two choices are a rental unit, a lease rental, or putting a security deposit down on a unit. And those are the two different ways to get going. And both of them start the same way, with a $99 application fee, which, by the way, we cover a substantial portion of that by providing an antenna voucher to give them the opportunity, as you were saying, Chuck, to be able to maximize the helium production of their unit. That's one thing that we've looked at over the last 8 months of working with helium hotspots, to learn as much as we possibly can about the various different nuances and training tidbits that help people to maximize their helium production. But there's a lot there.
Okay, Michael, let me ask you a question. Now, we're going to give everybody a voucher to get an antenna, and it's got a 5.8 or an 8 dBi. How do I know? Well, I mean, where do I go to find out whether or not I need this one or need that one?
Well, the reality is when you get your voucher for an antenna, and you want to go ahead and use that voucher to get an antenna, the first thing it does is it takes you into a training that Eric Z did specifically to tell, to show people the circumstances where one antenna versus the other antenna is desirable for your location. But the long and short of it is, if you're in an area where there's not a lot of hotspots where you are, but in a reasonably close range, and say 5, even 10 miles away from where you are, there are a bunch of hotspots, then having the longer range 8 dBi antenna would give you a much better shot at accessing those other hotspots. Whereas if you had a bunch of hotspots local to you and you want to get the ones further away, then the 5.8 is one that can do both of them. Because with the 8, sometimes there's a tendency, depending upon where those units are relative to where you are, to kind of go right over those locations to the ones that are farther away. So again, the 5.8 is kind of
John just put up something in the chat over to me, and he says one of the major things to point out is that we've noticed that the average of people who are using these antennas are getting 400% more earnings over the average, right? And so you might not think that you need one of these antennas, but in reality you do. I started out, just like Michael said, in my area, there weren't very many hotspots. There were a few around, but we hadn't built the mesh, right? We hadn't built the group. And so I started out with an 8 dBi antenna, and I was reaching out and grabbing and connecting with some that were much further away. And then I switched out to a 5.8 dBi because I was overshooting a lot of the hotspots that were closer by me. And so now I'm connecting with a whole bunch of them. So I just switched out, right? It just made sense for me to switch out.
Yeah,
So,
that's pretty much well, I didn't start off with the 8 and switch to a 5, but initially where I was, there were hardly any hotspots in my area, and I went and got an 8 dBi antenna, but just putting it on my windowsill, I was hardly getting anything at all. It was just some of the small amounts you get just for being challenged or doing challenges and that sort of thing. But when I got my 8 dBi antenna, I hadn't gotten the cable to be able to run it up to my roof, which was my intent. But I just took the little small 3-foot cable or whatever it was that came with it, and connected it to put the antenna on the inside of my window, right? With the unit on the windowsill, and just connected it. And I got way more helium. I started getting units that were 5 miles away, 10 miles away, even just having it. And I'm just in a 1-story place. So it was a window that was probably, maybe 3 feet off of the ground, and putting the antenna in the window, that made a huge difference. But when I actually ran it up to the roof, then it was added a whole nother factor, probably double or triple the amount of units I was able to see there. So even if you don't have the ability to put one on your roof, those more powerful antennas make a big difference.
yeah, no, absolutely. So definitely get an antenna. Don't waste the voucher. Even if you've got an antenna, go ahead and get one, and you can just pass that on to somebody else, or let them use the voucher, right? So, because I know a lot of people have already got antennas, and they're getting another machine. There's been some questions about whether or not multiple machines. I know Eric talked about it, and what I say about that is that beyond the Thursday, I think Eric's going to again give an update on having multiple hotspots, and so beyond the Thursday training to get that directly from him. So yeah, Michael, and there's as Michael's showing you, that there's a way to register. Michael, why don't you talk about CoinZoom, talk about the HNT wallet that you need and where you put that whole thing and so on.
Sure. So first off, definitely take advantage of registering for CoinZoom. You can just kind of click right here and it'll take you to a registration process. And, you click sign up now. Now I've already signed up on it, so it'll just take me to my CoinZoom handle, as they call it. But even if you have registered in the past with CoinZoom outside of iHub, or if you did it earlier on when we had the link in our commission back office, still go back and do it here. You'll make sure everything gets connected. But even if you registered in CoinZoom previously, it will link your CoinZoom account to your iHub account, because we, I believe, are going to be using one of the CoinZoom's business features for being able to do our weekly disbursements of HNT using CoinZoom, because that way it avoids the fees that normally happen by actually sending it over the blockchain. And we can do it directly from CoinZoom account to CoinZoom account, which is also a great feature in CoinZoom that they call, ZoomMe, where if I've got a relative in another location, even in another country, and they've got a CoinZoom account, I could transfer funds to them or them to me without any costs involved. So that's a really nice feature of CoinZoom, not to mention all the other great features.
And those funds, Michael, can be crypto or regular currency, right?
That's correct. Yeah, they're just, because it's just moving it from one person's internal CoinZoom wallet to the internal CoinZoom wallet for the other person. So that's a really nice feature. But the key is for those that don't have a connection on or an account open on a crypto exchange, and they want to be able to convert their HNT into their, into dollars or whatever the local currency is wherever they are, then you'll want to go ahead and use CoinZoom to convert it. But we also have the ability, at least right now in the United States, to be able to also put HNT as well as other cryptos, if we want to, onto a Visa debit card that it shows here, which is really nice, because then you can go ahead and use it just like any other Visa debit card, even at an ATM, online or offline in a retail store. So, but the key is that when you go to CoinZoom, you want to grab your HNT account, your HNT wallet address, and put it into your back office. And let me go ahead and show you how to do that. I'm just going to stop sharing for a second. Chuck, you can take a look in the chat and see if there's anything there, but I'm going to just log into CoinZoom real quick so that I have that information available that I can show everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I just got my CoinZoom Visa card the other day, and so it comes in a nice folder, right, like this, and it's right there. Congratulations. And then it says instantly convert your crypto and spend at over 53 million merchants worldwide with your CoinZoom Visa card. So, it gives us a lot of flexibility, whether you want to buy a cup of coffee somewhere, or groceries, or make a car payment, or whatever the case may be. You can instantly, and what the system does, it just takes your helium that you have there and it instantly converts that to whatever currency, and then that merchant really doesn't know. I mean, they're getting fiat, they're getting your regular currency, whether that be Canadian dollars or US dollars or yen or rubles or whatever, right? So it really doesn't make any difference. So Michael, I see you're in the CoinZoom back office. And if you're talking, I can't hear you.
Yeah, this is the CoinZoom back office when I first log in, and it's kind of like the interface for their trading platform. And if you're not used to that, it's, you don't have to get too overwhelmed with that. But the key is you click on portfolio, And when you click on portfolio, it'll bring you up to kind of the accounts that you've got already set up into CoinZoom. Give it a second to do that. Usually it's pretty instantaneous. I'm not sure. Let's see why it's hanging up.
It's usually, you're right, it's usually instantaneous.
Yeah, let me let me just try doing it here.
Oh, so as far as the CoinZoom Visa card, it's only available in the US market right now, is expanding globally as we go. So so that's and there's no fees. I mean, there is a fee to get the card itself. And Michael can kind of go through that. I think it's 400 Zoom credits.
Yeah, which is about $16 or something like that, I think. Oh, well, that's to get it overnighted.
Yeah, overnighted. Right.
Yeah, I did that as well. I think it's only 100 or maybe $4 or $5, $6 or something like that to just get it over a regular delivery.
Right.
So, and they've got a really good in support. They've got a really good place where it explains how to order your card and that sort of thing. Ordering your CoinZoom Visa debit card right here, it walks you through. But before you can do that, you have to fund your account with something. So let's get back to what I wanted to show you. And the first thing you do is you click on portfolio that takes you to this page here. Now, I've got I funded my account with some Helium. I just transferred 10 Helium tokens in there. And so Helium is one of my wallets that's an active wallet. Here's the Zoom wallet, which is kind of their own internal, token that they use to cover transactions and things within CoinZoom. But when you first log in and you haven't funded it yet, Helium will be alphabetically down here, and you would go down the Helium until you find it, but it'll be basically the same thing. You'll see where it says send or receive, and to fund the account means that you want to receive Helium into the account. So if you click on that, it will give you a QR code and the actual address. You could either copy the address or use the QR code, which is really a very convenient way. So if you've been saving your Helium to, say, your Helium phone wallet through the Helium app, then you can click on send, and it'll allow you to use the QR code, the QR scanner, and you just point at this and it'll automatically embed this address in there and ask you how many coins you want to send. And it's really quite simple. Now, but this address is also where this address here, what you do want to copy, is what you use to put into your back office for if you want to have iHub's weekly distributions go to that address. In fact, whatever Helium wallet address you put in your back office is where it's going to go. So let me show you where you actually do that. And I did this, I opened this up, but basically in your back office, if you click on My Commissions, it'll take you to a login screen that will take you to your commission back office. This is the one for Sam Tester. And under commissions, where it says My e-wallet, this is where you would actually put that. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see a place where it says Helium wallet address. Now, I already put that in there, but if I was copying this CoinZoom wallet, this one right here, I could just click this little clipboard here, and I'll just go ahead and do this just so you could see it. I'm going to clip this. I'm going to click on clipboard. It copied that address. You don't even have to highlight it, automatically copy that. And then if I went back here, and also before I show you how to paste it, I just want to point this out. If you haven't heard this before, this is a really good habit to get into when you're working with cryptocurrency wallet addresses, because this is a very long, complex address. There's no way you want to, have to read it and copy it from looking at it. You want to copy and paste it, but just to make sure that you're copying and pasting the entire thing, it's a really good idea to pay attention to the first 3 characters and the last 3 characters when you do paste it, because if you see the first 3 and the last 3, you know that everything in between is correct. So we've copied that. And if we go back to our e-wallet, and let me just, again, 13W U9K, and I were to go ahead and to paste this thing back in here, you can see it, 13W U9K. I successfully pasted it in here. I'd want to go click confirm that I want to get paid in HNT and that this is the valid address. And then if I want, then I'll go ahead and click save changes. And because I already had an address in there, it's going to tell me that that this is pending. It went back to my previous one, but it says now I've got this pending address change, and it's going to send me, the system will send my email, the one that I have registered for iHub Global. It'll send me an email to confirm and complete this Helium wallet address change for security. It'll ask for that address information just to make sure that I'm the one that requested that change, and I complete it. And then next time I come back in here, the correct one will be there, and it'll no longer say you got a pending address change. But it's as simple as that. I think the first time, if I'm not mistaken, John, if you're on the phone or you're on the line here, the first time you put the address in there, do you still have to confirm it with an email verification?
No.
No, it's just when you want to
Change it.
modify it.
Yeah, just a change.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first time you do it, you don't even have to worry about that email verification. You just
And
paste
so
it in
Michael,
there.
Michael, one of the questions that came up, he says, what he means in that we can use this address instead of using the Helium app address. So
That's correct. You see, the way
Yeah.
the way this works is we do our distributions on a weekly basis for the previous week ending on Saturday night, East Coast time, midnight. And whatever address that you've got in your back office prior to the end of that period is where the next distribution will go to. So some people may choose to have it go to their CoinZoom wallet every time. Sometimes they want to send a portion of it, maybe a month's worth to their CoinZoom wallet. They may send another month's worth to a different exchange, or just go into their phone wallet. It's really up to you. But the easiest thing, especially for those of you that are fairly new to crypto, is just connect it to your CoinZoom back office. And then it's going right there where you can access it and be able to do everything you want to do. The beauty of CoinZoom is you can get your account operational really in a day, where using it on an exchange, it could take weeks or even a couple of months to go through all the hoops to get that account set up.
I think one of the things, is that if you're using the Helium app, that gives you a Helium wallet.
It
Right.
does.
So,
Yes.
so what Michael was saying is that you could use the CoinZoom. You can use either of those. You can use the Helium app HNT wallet that's in there, and use that as the Helium wallet address that you put in your e-wallet, or you can use the CoinZoom. It's just more convenient if you use the CoinZoom one, because you got instant access to your money.
The key is,
Yeah.
the key is, Chuck, is that if you use your Helium app wallet, it's just a storage location. You can't do anything there except for send it to another location. So if you want to actually change it into your local currency or even another cryptocurrency, you would have to send it somewhere like an exchange or to CoinZoom in order to do that. And by having it go directly to CoinZoom, especially if you've got a Visa card and you want to be able to use that Helium as at your convenience, that's certainly the easiest way to get started.
A question here that Lee brought up, she said, I think you need to make sure that we don't transfer HNT to a wallet that doesn't hold it, right? So you can't transfer Helium, HNT, to any other wallet than an HNT wallet, right?
Yeah, that's one of the first rules in cryptocurrency wallets is you could, because each wallet is specifically designed to function with the specific cryptocurrency. So you can't send cryptocurrency for one type of cryptocurrency to a different type of wallet. You can't send HNT to a Bitcoin wallet or vice versa. In fact, you may have noticed when I was clicking on receive Helium, it very clearly create a pop-up saying that you can only send Helium to that address. Otherwise, you could risk losing whatever you were sending.
Oh, you will lose it.
Yeah. Well, there's some places that will flag it.
Yeah, we'll flag it. Right.
But probably 50% to 90% of the time, it goes into the black hole of crypto.
I'd like to own that black hole.
Yeah.
Because there's
I've done that before, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. It's gone.
Yeah, so just be careful, and we're going to try to and we'll do these things all the time, just kind of reacquaint you with some of the little nuances and things that we know work and don't work, and to be cautious of, like checking numbers and so on. And I mean, we've had people, and I don't know how it happened, somehow they put in a wallet address in there, and they don't even know where they got it. They don't even know where they got the wallet address, and their Helium was being paid to that wallet. They go, well, whose wallet is that? Don't look at us, right?
Yeah. It's the one thing about cryptocurrency, and it's really like learning anything new, is you got to be disciplined with some of the basics on it. And when you set up your cryptocurrency wallet using the Helium app, it forces you to write down in sequence 12 words that are used to reconstruct that wallet if you ever need to. And if you lose that phone or you log out, you'll need to go in and import that wallet again by setting up those 12 words. And if you lose those 12 words and you've got this address sitting there, it's forever gone. Unfortunately, I've seen a few people do that, where just like you said, well, I know that was my wallet address, but I can't find the 12 words that are connected to that wallet address. And there's literally nothing that can be done to recover that. So those 12 words you want to put in a couple of safe places, more than one, I recommend.
I had mine tattooed on my arm. So I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I just figured that's a good spot. So, hey, Michael, one of the, now that we've covered a lot of the basics, and I mean, there's, guys, and just don't get confused with all of these things. I mean, go into the back office, spend some time. You're not going to break anything. You can't wreck anything. Trust me, we've already tried to do that. And if it's still working after I get through with it, then it's not breakable. So go look at everything, watch as many videos as you can stand, and but they're just in small bites. So you catch a little bit of this, and it really is just getting to get familiar with where things are at. And if all else fails, there's a little search bar, and you can put anything in that search bar, and it'll tell you exactly where it is, what document it is, what video it is, and I think Michael's going to show that to you right now. But it's just it really is amazing just to have that functionality within the back office, and all the the different things, the news and updates and the frequently asked questions. There's that search bar. So what am I searching for? I'm searching for HNT wallet. Oh, there we go. Video training results, right? So there's go back to HNT. It has you. So there's there's all kinds of things, right, on HNT. And maybe you can just put in wallet, right?
Yeah, I don't know whether Eric's created a training on the wallet. It's one of the ones it's one of the ones in the list, but I don't think it's indexed in the search.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
So lots of information. Michael, one of the things that people always ask about, and that is, something called the resolution, or why is my hotspot now, it was at 1.0, and why is it now at 0.50, or why is it at this, or why is the reward scale, what does that actually mean, and why should I even care?
Well, let's talk a little bit about what you're referring to. Let's see. When you're saying reward scale, can you see the
Yep.
this unit here? So when you're looking at a particular unit on the Explorer, the Helium Explorer, it's got this what they call a transmit scale, and in my case, this is my unit here. It's saying that it's 0.22 transmit scale, which is a low number. 1.0 is the highest number you can have. And first off, your transmit scale doesn't determine how much you earn. It determines how much people earn when they're witnessing you. So if you've got a transmit scale of 1.0, that means when they're witnessing you, they're going to earn the maximum amount of helium that particular transaction can do. But if you've got a transmit scale of 22, which is on the low scale, low side of things, it means that if somebody's witnessing me, they're only going to get 22% of what they could potentially get compared to if I had a transmit scale of 1. Now, what causes those numbers to go down has to deal with these of different kinds of hexes that is built into the helium model. Now, when we are using Helium Track and you see these little hexes on here, these are called hex 8s. They're different sizes of these hexagrams. Let me just move some things out of the way here. Go to map settings. Yeah, so I've got the Res 8 turned on right now. And the smaller the number, the bigger the res is. And there's some really big ones that go down to Res 5, Res 4, I think even Res 3. Now these resolutions is a grid that was, I think, put together originally by Uber, and it's been adapted by just about everybody doing geo positioning. These different resolutions are, like for instance, if I were to put the Res 7 on here as well, you'll see now you've got this bigger hex that's there, that you've got these Res 8 that are inside of the Res 7s and so on. And if I were to go ahead and have the Res 6 show up as well, then you'll see these yellow ones even bigger, and they get bigger and bigger as you go. But the way it works in Helium's algorithms that they use for their proof of coverage is they allow so many hotspots in each one of these particular hexes to give maximum spread of coverage in the area without overloading the coverage. And so if you get too many units, these green dots right here represent units that are online. If you get too many of them in different size hexes, it starts to reduce that transmit scale. And when you get into the hex 4, it can cover 40 miles or at least 40 kilometers, I think, on a side. It covers a lot. And you could have like a maximum of 800 units within a hex 4 before it reduces the transmit scale of everybody within that hex, and then the smaller hexes all contribute to it. So it's very difficult to ascertain that looking at a map and seeing that. That's why you really need the software to do that. And so there's right now, Helium Track only goes down to that Res 6, but they are going to be adding the other ones on there shortly. They just needed to get through.
Michael,
right now.
shut that screen share down for a second. Let me just open this up, and you and I'll look at that other one that I just opened. And in fact, that's there. You can see, or can you not see?
No, you're not sharing yet.
I'm not seeing yet. Okay. So let me, oh.
I can do it. from
Okay,
this.
now you can see, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So this is where Helium, the Explorer map sends you when they say, that little arrow, it's over to a system called Hotspotty. And I use this frequently, and this is my unit that we're looking at. And this is my Res 8. It's not as
Probably your res. That's probably your Res 4.
maybe it is the Res 4. Let's go down here and look. That's the Res 5.
Oh, okay. Your Res 5.
Yeah.
So it says that there's 32 too many in that res.
Right.
And so that means that it's going to start reducing your reward scale as you start to overpopulate a particular resolution hexagon.
Yeah. So see,
Get and click that Res 4 one. It says 37 still available in it. But when you click it and now scroll back up to
yeah.
where you were on the map, you'll see that on the map.
Let me scroll back up again. There we go.
Yeah, so you can see how big it is. It's covering the entire Wilmington area and all the surroundings.
Right, all the surrounding areas. And so, but still only 37 available in that area. And so there's limit 250 interactive hotspots within that Res 4 area.
I think that limit is related to the Res 5. That was the one.
Is that right?
That's the one that was in red when you first went down there. If you scroll down, you'll see that. I think that's still in red. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I just clicked on, yeah.
So this is a really useful tool if you're looking to build in an area, because you see where it says like A and B to the left of that one that's highlighted.
Yeah.
So if you happen to live in an area like I do right now in Scottsdale, Phoenix, where there's already a very high density of units, and it's reducing the transmit scales of everybody in there. But when I look on my map, the equivalent, I see an A or a B to the left of where I am, where there's not a lot of activity yet. And that tells me that if I build there, that I will get a lot more helium for the same number of witnesses than compared to a hex 4 that's already overdeveloped. And
yeah.
So this can really help your
that's
strategy.
what I would do. I would move up here to F. I can move over here to A. I can move over here to B. Right.
Right.
And, these are out in the water. So
yeah. And another cool little tip that I've been working on is I've got somebody equivalent to hosting there, sort of at where 7 o'clock would be, and you're in the hex that's outlined right there. Your green one there. It's kind of like at 7 o'clock, the lower left corner there.
Right.
And what I did is, even though there was a lot of hotspots, just like you see here, I put an 8 dBi antenna there so that I could reach out into that adjacent area where
Yeah.
those hotspots would give me more helium per witness than the ones that were within.
Because they were all number ones, right?
Yes,
Out over
exactly.
here.
Yes.
Yeah. As opposed to, let's see, I'm still, and it gives you some, good information. Now, the last 24 hours, the last, so on and so forth, and what all the little peaks and valleys and lifetime and what happened in January and what's about to, happening in February. And next week, we're going to go over understanding a little bit more about HNT and about the long-term, what this long-term, I mean, one of the reasons we decided to do this was because helium actually has a 50-year plan. This isn't something, now, are there going to be a few pivots in that 50-year plan? Obviously, because they started writing this before there was anything available. And, as things became, more and more congested, they started making some changes, putting in validators and doing this and doing that. And, but, next week we'll go over some information that'll explain to you the whole premise of HNT. And we're getting paid for building the network right now, right? We're getting paid for building the network. But as that network gets built, we're going to get paid less and less for the proof of coverage that we're currently getting paid on. And we're going to get paid more and more and more on the data transfer. And you'll see when we talk about this next week, how helium's overall strategy is to reduce the amount over time that investors are getting, all the investors, Google and so many others that put in money to get this thing off the, to get it started, that their amount is going to decrease, our amount is going to increase. And so it's, a lot of people are a little bit discouraged now because of, well, my machine's not, getting as much helium as it used to. That's the plan. That's the plan. I mean, unfortunately, that was already written in the book.
And the expectation in that whole plan, because of the consumption of the helium as a result of IoT users and companies consuming data credits and spending data credits, to that whole process and their tokenomics, they call it, their economics of the HNT token, that drives up the value of the HNT token. So as less and less helium is actually mined through this process, the value of the helium token continues to increase. So the relative rewards that you get are going to be somewhat constant, is what they're trying to do over a much, very extended period of time.
Right. So we're going to talk about that next week. So if you ever wanted to learn anything about helium and how it actually works, stay tuned. We're going to go over that information, and we'll go over it several times. There's a lot of moving parts here, but it's just connecting all of those dots. And that's what we try to do on these Tuesday calls. The Thursday calls are more specific to, kind of helium track, what's going on, with the business overall, what's going on with deployment, what's going on with all of those things, which is critical to, look, last 30 days, this is my unit, 8.98. I used to make that in a day, right? I used to make that in a day. But now again,
Of course, the
helium,
token was worth a lot less back then. But yeah.
yeah, helium wasn't 30, 40, $50, right? We were always talking about it being worth 30, 40, $50. It was worth $2 or $3 or $4.
Yeah. Or
So
even $2. I
yeah,
remember back in,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
So
So it's all relative. You know, again, I'm going to continue talking about this until everybody gets it. The redenomination factor is real, and it's who knows when it's going to happen. And let me tell you exactly what it is. Redenomination, they're going to do 1,000-to-1 split. Okay, so if you go to bed tonight with 1 helium in your wallet, and they do redenomination in the middle of the night, tomorrow morning you're going to wind up and you'll have 1,000 helium in your wallet. Now you'll still have the same dollar amount, right? It'll still be worth, if it's split and it was worth $30 when you went to bed for that one, it'll be worth 1,003 cents when you wake up. So you'll still have the same. You haven't lost any, you haven't gained any, but you know, again, the tokenomics, I like that word, Michael. The tokenomics of everything is that they believe, just in past performance of other companies that have used this strategy, that a 3-cent HNT will go to $1 very, very quickly, because it'll bring tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people into the HNT arena to buy HNT, because there's a lot more buyers at 3 cents than there are at $30. Just makes sense.
And it gives a lot of room for people that are using the hotspots and generating these helium tokens for the quantities of tokens that they'll be creating. So you've got just about 9 tokens over the last 30 days. Well, if you woke up in the morning and it would change it to 9,000 tokens. And so there's a lot of room for those 9,000 tokens to decrease as more and more units are out there, as the value of those tokens goes from, say, 3 cents to $1 or higher over the next 50 years, where it's going to go. And
hey, just figure it out, guys. 3 cents to $1 is 30x. So I don't know if it's going to actually do that. It quite possibly could do that. It's done that in the past. Helium started at 2.5 cents, right? Almost 3 cents in the very beginning. And, look where it went to. So could it go from 3 cents to $1? More than likely, and that's 30x. So I don't know. It's
so here's the take home message from all that is, if you've got helium right now, any amount of helium, try and hold on to as much of it as makes sense based on your personal situation. You got to do what you got to do to cover your living expenses, but you want to hold on to a portion of it, because the relative value of those helium tokens, later on down the road, compared to the way are now, has a very high probability of being significantly more. Just as you experienced when you sold your Bitcoin at $12, yeah?
Yeah, thanks. Much more so than having dollars, right? I mean, your dollar is shrinking. You wake up in the morning, stuff costs more than when you went to bed, and so it's shrinking every day. So, we're going to take one question. We're going to take Erica's one question, and then we're going to close up shop. So go ahead and unmute yourself, young lady, and let's get your question out of the way.
Hi, Chuck. Is it possible for people in Canada to buy helium? No?
I mean, to buy the token itself?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, people anywhere in the world can buy helium. You just need to have an account at an exchange like CoinZoom or Binance or many of the other ones, but that's one thing. You get a CoinZoom account and then you can fund it with dollars, Canadian dollars, and convert those Canadian dollars into helium through CoinZoom if you chose to.
Sure.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
go to CoinZoom to purchase it.
I'm sorry, say that again?
So I would have to go to log into CoinZoom to purchase the helium.
Yeah, you would register and then you would fund the account with your local currency and then you would convert it on using the CoinZoom interface. Somebody in the account was saying that they did an ACH on Saturday and it's still pending. That is very typical when you're transferring from a bank into a cryptocurrency exchange in general. I mean, it's
Especially
typically it's like 4 to 5 business days if I transfer dollars into, say, into Binance, for instance, similar type of thing before I have free access of those funds.
Right.
Is there a minimum amount that a person can purchase?
No, other than, you get to, no, probably you could still purchase a fraction of one. It gets to a certain point where there's certain transaction fees that they're low for helium. But if it gets too low, like, 50 cents or something like that, then I think that the transaction fee for helium is somewhere around 50 cents.
Yeah, what's fastest?
Oh, yeah,
Credit card, debit cards, much faster than ACH, much faster than all of those things. So,
It's probably like around $10 is probably what you'd want the minimum to be around.
Yeah, realistically, yeah.
Yeah.
well, hey guys, Wednesday night, we do a business opportunity Zoom right here at 9 p.m. East Coast time. So go find some friends or people that, if you need some friends or some relatives or whomever, and tell them to come over and listen to this crazy story about this crazy box that sits there on your windowsill and makes money. All you got to do is say that and they'll come. So with that, and then Thursday night, you don't want to miss. I mean, there's only 1,000 seats in that room and we will blow it out. I mean, everybody's waiting for all of this information and there'll be, again, great information. Yes, it'll be recorded and yes, you can watch it later, but it's always nice to have that available right then and be in the know, if you will. So with that, Michael, thank you very much for all of your help. Couldn't do these things without you and wouldn't want to either. So that's another one. So, hey guys, let's just stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and then Thursday we'll have the big event. And with that, I'm gonna unmute everybody. We can just say good night, good night.
Good night. Thanks.
Good
Night, good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
To sing good night, good night.
Good
again.
job.
Bye.
Night.
See everybody.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Right.
Oh, good night.
Thanks for sticking around. Okay, Michael, we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Good night,
Good
all.
night, everybody.
Hey, before you guys go,
All right, Mr. Hanson. Chuck.
Good night.
Good night, Mary Ellen.
He looks
Chuck.
cool.
Mr.
Yeah.
Hanson, are you in the Wilmington area?
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
Okay, I'm in Castle Haynes.
okay, awesome.
I'm waiting for my hotspot.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
it won't be long now,
Okey doke.
right?
All right, thank you.
Okay,
guys,
feel good.
before you go,
Good night, guys.
before you go, can you hang on a second?
Thank you, Chuck and Michael. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Good night, good night, good night.